Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Teacup for One movie marathon. It's been a while, but oh no, my air thing. It's been a while, but here we are. Welcome back to the Oscar Movie Marathon 2025 edition. I am so thrilled to be back for probably my favorite marathon and maybe yours as well. I was hoping this would stay all night. I'm a Dune person. I was really hoping that what was it saying? Oh yeah. This is my favorite marathon of the year, which not to say that like after we do this one, everything goes downhill, but I love Oscar time. I love having an opportunity to watch movies that I wouldn't normally watch. And then there's Dune too, but we'll get into that. So yes, we are kicking off another Oscar season. Tonight we were talking about Dune 2. The following weeks we're talking about some of the other movies. I can't remember the schedule off the top of my head, but we have a very special show on February 20th, which is my birthday. So be here for my birthday show because we are going to be talking about Wicked and Amelia Perez, aka the other movie musical that got all the nominations that Wicked should have gotten. But that's a discussion for my birthday date. Anyway, let's bring in our guests for tonight. You know them, you love them. Our very first friend, it's Vince, everybody. Hey, Vince.
Yo, team, how's it going? I'm a little ill, I've been battling a cold all week, so I'm gonna stick this out as long as I can because I'm passionate about the subject matter. Matt, can I just say you look great with your little vapor inhaler thing. You're looking spectacular, but more importantly, you're killing it with the beard, my friend.
Thank you. It's a 2025 thing that I'm trying to see how long.
I would follow you into battle with that, dog. You're looking great.
Thank you. As are you. I took inspiration from you, Vince.
Thank you. I try my best.
So, Vince, it's 2025. What is your New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution? I tell you, I've been taking vitamins. I'm taking vitamins this year, Actually, for 2 days now, I've been taking vitamins because of this gosh darn illness that beat me down to my knees. Someone coughed on my steak last Friday, I think, because I was at this restaurant, and then everyone who was at my table got ill.
Oh God!
So we think it's the chef. It's the only common denominator, but I don't know. We're not going to take legal action against the place, right? That's such a hassle. But anyway, so I've been taking vitamins. I could always be healthier. My diet's not that great. So I'm trying to fill in the gaps with some vitamin C, vitamin D3, some B12. I hear B12 is good because there's 12 of them. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm trying to become a healthier version of the guy you all know and love.
I love that.
Thank you.
Don't do the spice. Don't go for the spice.
I don't know. That spice melange, it seems I really see the appeal,
I don't know. Well, we'll get into that. Yeah. All right. Speaking of appealing, let's bring in our next guest. It's Alex, everybody.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
On? Is it working? It's been a while since I've won one of these. Where I look over here?
No, look all around.
There, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Alex, hey, thank you. It's been a while. I dare say I've got the spark of nervous excitation, even though this face does not betray.
Yeah, well that's a hell of a poker face you got.
I'm a regular whatchamacallin, not Cumberbeak, Timothy Chalamet.
Oh God!
Yeah, Chalamet.
We'll discuss him.
Except for that one scene where he goes all ham.
You mean no? He can't go ham. He's not capable of going ham.
He literally goes ham in this film. But okay. We'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah, we'll get there. Alex,
His very subtle, his very subdued, passive, monologue yelling spree in the in the Zeech or whatever the fuck they're called. Oops.
Oh God, we made it 5 minutes before.
Yeah. No ham detected there, where he's like, I'm the frickin' God King, mother effers. You guys can't do schnitzel to me. Come at me, bro. Your grandmother's dead. How do you feel? They,
That was better than what he did in that whole movie.
I agree, but that's, you know.
Yeah. That's another discussion for later. All right, let's bring in our last guest for tonight. It's Jeanette, everybody. It's Tinker
Well,
Jeanette.
hello.
Hello.
Whoa.
I'm knocking stuff over as I'm
Oh.
greeting you. Sorry.
Oh, no. Jeanette, welcome back.
Hello. We didn't get to hear Alex's.
Oh, yeah, Alex, what's your New Year's resolution?
You didn't ask me.
Well, we're asking you now. What's
I'm
your
asking
New
you
Year's
now. Let's
resolution?
go.
Okay, I don't do New Year's resolutions, but
That's why I didn't ask.
in the spirit of the question, I will answer. This is the first year in my life, similar to Vince, actually. First year in my life that I've ever had a gym membership. So I guess go to the gym. Like, don't waste my money on the membership. Like, you know, get my money's worth.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
the gym is my New Year's resolution, as it were.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Thanks.
Nice, nice. Jeanette, how about you?
New Year's resolution is to suffer no fools.
What does that
Uh,
mean?
That means I'm not taking any SHIT.
Oh,
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And like, I just figure where we're at in my country specifically. I cannot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're the only one from there tonight.
Yeah.
Well, soon we'll all be from there.
That's true. That's true. I personally cannot wait to become the 51st state. Then our dollar will be
Should
in a
have been
fantastic-
Puerto Rico.
Then we'll be like the Fremen. It'll be great.
That's right.
Dune is just
Oh,
yeah.
We'll
my.
hide in the snow.
And the
Yeah.
spice will be maple syrup. Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah. Maple syrup and
space
legal
travel will be
weed.
Does that mean that we have to like violate a tree and then ride it? Like,
Oh yeah.
That's-
It would
Baby
be like
tree.
it would be like giant beavers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the spice doesn't.
I've dealt with a few of those in my day.
Yeah, forget where the. I guess the spice. I don't remember where it comes from.
oh god. Okay.
It all
Let's see-
comes from down below.
Let's see who we have in the chat. It's my cats. It's Eliza. She didn't watch the movie.
Hello, Eliza.
It's Sabrina. She didn't like the movie.
Oh.
And it's my mom. She just said welcome back. She also didn't watch the movie. I think she
Hey,
might have heard it
Martha.
while I was watching it. But anyway, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go. Dune 2. I'm glad we're doing this first so we get out of the way because I notoriously do not care for this franchise, nor did I care for the first movie. And this movie, we'll get there. But I guess before we dive into it, one thing, I mean, something that we started last year that I really like that I want to do a variant of this year, mostly for Doom. I think it'd be fun for all of them. I like to just hear everyone's quick 30-second synopsis of the movie. But in the spirit of Dune, I would like each and every one of you to describe the plot of this movie as though you are telling it to a 5-year-old. Describe Dune as though you're telling it to a 5-year-old in a way that
Dune overall or Dune,
Dune
Part 2
2?
specifically,
Dune
the
2.
one
Let's
we're
just do
talking
Dune
about.
Part 2. Dune Part 2.
Oh god,
Okay.
that's
Describe
even
it to a
harder.
I think
5-year-old
that's easier. I
in a
think that's
way that they can
actually.
understand. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
And you'll have 30 seconds each. We'll start with Alex. Hold on, let me get the timer. So, Alex, you have 30 seconds to describe Dune to a 5-year-old. Hold on, I'm going to do the thing, actually, where I can... Do I do it this way? Do I do it this way? Yeah, yeah, there we go. Ready? Go.
All right, so little 5-year-old person. So Dune Part 2 is what happens when a fancy, high-minded director thinks that he can get away with casting big names and then just rushing through a very intricate and well laid out story in a span of, I don't know, 2.5 hours or something. Yeah.
Well,
So,
Alex,
you know,
Alex, that's your time. But also, to clarify, you were supposed to discuss Denis Villeneuve's Dune 2, not David Lynch's Dune, where he condensed all of it into two.
that was a terrible pronunciation of the director's name.
David
and then-
Lynch.
You don't want to hear
No.
mine then. It's way worse.
Yeah, and again, I don't. That's another resolution this year. I will, similar to Jeanette, I will refuse to respond to obvious provocations, such as the one you just levied at me. So
Hell
And
yeah.
then how will we ever carry on a conversation?
it remains to be seen.
All right, Jeanette, it's your turn. Go.
Picking up where Dune 1 left off, we still have families fighting over spice, and we still have psychic old ladies telling people that they're doing things the wrong way. And there's still really hot young people doing things in the sand. And but not those things. That would make this movie way too interesting. And then there's some other cool people in makeup, and one of them's really fat and old, and then
That's
the young
your
one's
time.
like,
There we
I
go.
can do it.
All right, Vince, it's your turn. Go.
Hey, little buddy, this is a movie about his whole family died at the end of the last one, except his unborn sister and his mom. His unborn sister is in it. Oh my God. And they're abusing religious values to get what they want. So stay clear of that, kid. Always use critical thought as you walk through this world, as you ascend towards adulthood. So
All right.
do the best you can, kid.
Whoa,
go.
unborn
actually-
babies dictating what people do.
Oh,
Imagine that.
uh-oh.
Crazy. Giving myself 30 seconds. There we go.
That's funny.
All right, kiddo. So this movie is about what happens when you take the most uninteresting, bland white man possible and then have a bunch of people elevate him to godlike status and then make people scared of him and then make people worship him. And then they decide to cast him in Dune. And that is Timothée Chalamet's career. And that is how we got Dune Part 2. There we go.
Hey, you know how many peaches he had to bang to get this role?
Does
5?
Timothée Chalamet have a peach fetish?
Did you
Well,
not
he
see
w-
Call Me
he
by
d-
Your Name?
Yeah, that's
It's
where
the
he got
thing,
his
yeah.
start, right?
It's the
Yeah.
only part of that movie I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Alex, his breakout role was in a movie called Call Me by Your Name with Army Hammer.
Also
Armie-
Oscar nominated.
Oscar. Yep. And that movie was Oscar nominated. I think he was Oscar nominated as well for that. For
Wow.
probably like best lead actor. And it's about him being like a teenager, 14, 15, having a gay love affair with a much older man, like over the course of a summer. And there's a scene where he pleasures himself using a peach. And that was like a big viral thing with that movie. Yeah. So there we
The
go.
connection here is that everyone ended up pleasuring themselves with the popcorn bucket for this movie.
Yeah. Millions of peaches.
So the next question, would you rather a popcorn bucket or no, we won't go there. All right. Dune
Guess it
part
depends on your gender, really.
I feel like either gender or not even either, any gender, you can make either work if you're creative enough. But anyway, here we go. Dune 2, let's dive into it. So I'll give my opening statement. I was hoping this movie wouldn't be nominated this year because I did not want to watch it. When it was out last year in theaters and everyone was going to see it, I did not, to the point where Alex even asked me more than once if I wanted to go, and I said no, unless there was a Dune popcorn bucket involved. And I was
That's okay. I still went.
yeah, sure, he still went.
Do you each get your own popcorn bucket, or do you
Well, no,
have to
this is
share?
the thing. I said if you can get he said he was going to go more than once, I think, or was willing to go more than once. So I said if you can get me a
That was
Dune
more information than I asked for, but okay.
As
Like,
long as you
yeah,
wash
I'll see
between
in
uses.
exchange for the popcorn bucket, but the popcorn bucket was sold out. So like, why would I go see that movie? But anyway, I've seen it now, and I will say I went in prepped to not like it, and I didn't like it, but I didn't despise it as much as I despised the first movie. I enjoyed it almost in some ways. Not to a point where I'm fully invested, but it wasn't as painful as the first movie was. I think the supporting cast carries a lot more weight in this film in a way that I was able to appreciate. I stand by not being a fan of Timothée Chalamet. I respect him and the career that he has, but he is my Kristen Dunst or my Michelle Williams. And I did actually hit a point midway through this movie where I thought I might actually have enjoyed this film if Austin Butler or someone like Austin Butler or someone who wasn't Timothée Chalamet was playing Paul. I think that's my main thing. If I cared more or found Paul more interesting or watchable, and I mean, I guess we could dive into whether or not Timothy gives a good performance or not, but either way, as a viewer, I don't find him that engaging. So therefore, like 2.5 hours of one Dune movie, let alone like almost 5, I think, of 2 Dune movies, like that's tough for me. But Zendaya and Rebecca Ferguson really held it together for me in this movie. They were 2 standouts for me, but I think just all of them all of them that weren't him, I was like, I love all the scenes you're in. So the supporting cast really did it for me with this film. And there were more sandworms, and I appreciated that. Anna Swanson is
It's me, Anna. I'll fess up. It's I don't like her so much after Interview with the Vampire on. Like, I like Interview with the Vampire, and then after that, no bueno. Zendaya, better Mary Jane. Or she's actually not very, but whatever, you know.
Damn.
Oh yeah, sorry, Anna. But yeah, that was me.
being
that-
booed. Being
Is
booed.
that how we say her name, Zendaya?
I thought it was Zendaya.
Yeah, I thought it was Zendaya too.
I've heard Zendaya done as well, though, so I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
we
we
should
could
get
find
to
an
the
interview
bottom of
where
this.
she
It's
says her name.
Zendaya.
Maybe.
That, it
Christine
is now
Zendaya.
Zendaya. I think on
right.
this show, it's now Zendaya.
Yeah. If she ever comes on, Zendaya for her.
When she
Her
does.
and Tom Holland together, yeah, cool.
Her and Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, who could have played a better Paul Atreides?
Oh my!
I don't know.
Yeah, I
about
would
that.
not want to see that.
I don't
I
know
wanna
about
see
that.
You don't
That
want to see
would've
been
Spider-Man Atreides?
Maybe Daniel Radcliffe. I feel
That
like
would have been great.
I feel like
too.
Daniel
No,
Radcliffe is like the more
Andrew
mature version of Tom
Garfield.
Holland.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No, Andrew Garfield.
done
He was
Andrew.
I
good.
wouldn't have been mad.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been mad, but whatever.
Yeah.
Jeanette,
If
what'd
we
you
get-
think? Give us your opening statement on Dune 2.
When and why did I first see it? So back when it first came out on streaming, not in the theater,
Uh-oh.
because we did not end up going to see it in theater. We got it, and we tried to watch it, and I fell asleep after 10 minutes all 3 times we tried to watch it. And then our rental was up and I didn't watch it. So, and then this came up and it was free, thank goodness. And I also fell asleep the first time. Then we watched it a second time and I stayed awake for approximately 85% of it. There is something about this score and the scenes. It has to do with these videos I watch to go to sleep at night. They look very similar. The sound is
Austin Butler unaliving people really violently.
Oh God, that'd be kind of cool. But no, it's like sound bath videos that have like changing lights in the background. So it literally is like these videos I watch to go to sleep. And yeah, also the acting not keeping me awake.
Fair.
The action, if you aren't into explode, like I wanted more worms. All the worms are pretty much backloaded in this movie.
Yeah, more worms.
And I wanted more worms. I actually prefer the first one. I don't know if there's just more blue eye spice stuff going on. I
There's
like
less
that more.
Zendaya.
I also
Yeah.
thought Josh Brolin carried the first film. So
That's
that
my-
was kind of where my brain went. I was like, and then you get Brolin back a little bit in this one. But yeah, as far as standouts, I think that if we're going to talk about this in relation to the Oscars, my big takeaway from this is Florence Pugh is not nominated, and that's a freaking travesty. I thought Zendaya was about as meh as Timothée Chalamet was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought they were both on the same par. That was the
Oh,
only
yeah.
chemistry they had, was the equal mehness.
Yeah.
out of them.
She elevated him. She made him
Yeah.
better.
I like when she has comedy in her roles. I think she plays really, really well with comedy, and so I didn't care. I also think that this is just Star Wars with all the fun sucked out of it. So I'm like, there's no comedy. None. That's my first takeaway.
All right. Well, I think Vince has things to say. Vince, let's
Yes.
get your opening statement.
I'm here to defend Dune 2, I guess. I really think this is one of the great sequels of our time that
Uh-oh.
elevated the first movie. You know, and I think there's 2 types of sequels. The one that's a standalone, and then there's the one that enhances the film that came before it. And I admit, Dune 1 I enjoyed very much, but it had weaknesses. Dune 2, it has weaknesses, mostly Christopher Walken. But aside from that, I think this movie's pretty good. I laughed every time Chris Walken showed up. Like, it's just so
Maybe
funny.
that's why I liked
Like,
him so much. I was like, I do love Chris Walken in this.
Every time I even like felt a little bit of slumber behind my eyes, here comes Christopher Walken, and I'm thinking
Yes.
about gotta have more cowbell. And you know what? That kind of, maybe that was intentional. You bring him in, that's comedy relief right there. I think Javier Bardem had some comedy relief. You know, his unquivering belief and faith.
Yeah,
It was almost done like to a comedic point in several spots. Like after the knife fight, for example, and he's like his heart's like in his stomach, and then he's like, then he screams like praise after like this beautiful extended silence. So look, I'm going to defend Dune 2. I think it's great. I think the cinematography is wonderful. But hey, cinematography. I'm a little enthusiastic
Excited.
now. I think the cinematography. I don't know. Is that even a good movie anymore? Like everything has good cinematography now. So who knows?
I mean, I am eager to talk about the cinematography. Because it was nominated and other things were not that I think should have been.
Well, that's a fair point, I think, Vince.
Yeah. So look, I thought this movie was very good. I think, sure, it could have been shorter, but in terms of Tim Chalamet, I think he did what was demanded of him based on the source material. I haven't read Dune, but I've seen a lot of literary analysis, and it seems to me that Paul is a boring guy, and he's been
It's
prepped.
a hard book to crack into. It is.
I believe it.
It's dense. Even if you like world building, it's dense.
I do appreciate world building, and I do want to talk about Dune Prophecy at some point tonight because I thought it was terrible. So as much as I will apologize, I'll be a Dune 2 apologist tonight. I will trash other Dune, like Dune Prophecy.
I don't actually. What? I know it's a TV.
It's the TV series. It's about the beginning of the Bene Gesserit, right?
Yeah. It's set 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides, which is
now.
No, now is 20,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides. This is a weakness, I think, of the Dune universe. It's too big, too much time passing. Like it's very unrelatable, and it feels weird. But like it's kind of cool because like we were slaves of robots for 20,000 years. So like,
and I guess it makes sense why some of us have like certain physical changes, evolutions than others. Like the Harkonnens look quite different. Also, your point about it being Earth and about it being 20,000 years later, I literally didn't even either remember or know that until this.
Wait,
you're saying that Dune, the planet Dune,
Arrakis is Earth?
I thought, somebody told me that's still Earth because they have humans, and they say humans, and I didn't realize that any of these people were supposed to be humans. I thought they were all some other sort of race, and then they say in this movie humans. And I'm like,
that's an interesting. I don't know if that's a fan theory or not because I've looked into it, and some sources say that like the location of Earth has just been lost to time.
I just assume
Earth. But they do say humans in this movie, and
the Bene Gesserits. Even in the first movie, the Bene Gesserit, the mother, she says, She says something like "for a human" when she's talking to Rebecca Ferguson's character. She says,
"I guess I didn't remember that." I was like, "Oh,
yeah, they did use the term human.
They were something that we were just like they would look like humans, but they weren't."
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, my understanding is we developed AI, and then the AI enslaved us, and then colonized the universe with us, and then we defeated the AI, so we got rid of all AI. That's why they don't use any computers and they use psychedelic drugs. Yeah.
But then where do the sandworms come into play? Or unless
they're born of the spice. Hang on, I'm gonna cough my balls off. I'll be right back.
Okay, bye, Alex. What's your opening statement on this movie?
Yeah, like I haven't read the books, but I was a big fan of the Lynch film from the 80s, and grew up with that. So I am Dune. I like the first film. This one, well, sorry, I shouldn't say I like the first one. Anyway, I like both films, but I also like compare. Like basically, Dune Part 1 and Part 2 they tell the same story in effect that David Lynch's film tells. Mm-hmm. And so I have that going for me, which is nice. Dune 2, I just felt that the second part in particular, funnily enough, even though, Lynch's film is one film, I feel like Lynch's pacing is way better. And I feel like the pacing in Dune 2 funnily enough, to Jeanette's point too, or not Jeanette's point, but like the idea of it being too long or boring, I felt like Dune 2 goes by too quickly. Like they probably spend too much time on world building and things that I don't super care. Like, not that I don't care about, but they left too little times for the like for basically as much time was given in like Lynch in this film as in Lynch's film to like the Emperor arriving on Arrakis, for example,
Right.
and this movie makes less of a big deal about it than like the Lynch film. It's like and there's just more. Anyway.
That was a weird scene. I have to say, all of a sudden they were like, "And the Emperor's here," and I was like,
"Yeah,
what?
the Emperor's
Where did
here."
that come from? What?
Yeah, him arriving and them killing all the Sardaukar, and Paul becoming effectively the like emperor of the universe or whatever. Like it's like basically and I felt that way for this whole film. Like I just felt like they spent a lot of time world building, which I liked. Like I like looking at the Sieches or whatever they're called and the Fremen and whatnot. But then they just kind of like, okay, and now it's time to make Paul like the the actual Kwisatz Haderach and the Emperor or whatever. I just felt like the pacing was not great for me, and I walked away feeling like similar to how I felt with Game of Thrones, where like the last couple seasons they just kind of crammed a bunch of important events because they knew they were ending, and it's like, oh, this is part 2 out of part 3, and I guess in order to accommodate part 3, they're making part 2 this way. So it's like I don't necessarily. I mean, part of me is like I want the film to be longer. The other part of me is like, no, you could probably just change, like just reduce some of the stuff that happens in some parts.
I'm wondering
There's just
if
a bunch of like the hollering and sand scenes.
Yeah, which I like.
Expanded the end of the film by about an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I think the Game of Thrones thing is interesting because I also did not mind the end of Game of Thrones, but I think it's because I was ready for it to be over. So I was like, yeah, just get it over. Make it finish. And that could have been the case with this. But also, I mean, I agree with you, but also I feel like my perspective is the exact opposite, which I don't understand why, but hear me out. I think, yeah, my first intro to Dune was the David Lynch movie. And I do remember watching it. And there was a point where I was like, okay, at what point does movie 1 end? And like at what point in this David Lynch movie? And then I tried to guess and I was way off. Like the first movie ended at a point narratively in the David Lynch film where I was like, this barely anything has happened.
Yeah, it's like the first all the, quarter of the film or something.
Yeah, all the interesting stuff happened in the second half. So I think I appreciated this movie because anything that I found vaguely interesting, narrative-wise or world-building-wise, is achieved here. Whereas, and I think I was able to enjoy this movie a little bit more because, granted, I still had to do a lot of reading to remind myself about who everyone was and what all the everything was. But I think the first movie was just so long. And for me, it felt very long and drawn out and was just world building. And it felt like this movie gave me the opportunity to have the payoff of that of they didn't need to explain Bene Gesserits or Kwisatz Haderachs or anything. And they were able to focus more on plot, essentially, and character relationships, which is something I sort of felt was missing or that didn't stand out to me in the first movie as much. I'm sure it was there. I just didn't care. And yeah, I found Rebecca Ferguson's character more interesting in this film. I was a fan of Zendaya. And Florence Pugh's character as well. Well, yeah, all of them really. Oh, and Austin Butler. Yeah, as I said, I really liked the supporting cast and all the scenes that had them. So
I should have said Justice for Sting. So shit.
You should have said, oh, that's so good. So good. Yeah. So anyway, there it is. But yeah, Dune. Like what? I think this is my issue with Dune. And Vince touched on it in a way where it's just so far in the future and it feels so far removed from reality, which I'm not opposed to fantasy worlds at all. But my whole thing with it is that there's so much you have to understand before you can start to appreciate what's happening with the characters, or at least for me and my soft, cushy brain, like having to wrap my mind around, like, what is this? Like, who is the Emperor? What's with the Arrakises and the Atreides? What are all these names? Why do they sound kind of similar? How do sandworms play into it? What's a Bene Gesserit? And
I have a theory about all of that.
What is it?
Is that about the whole entry into the world and how it might have affected the lasting fandom of Dune versus maybe some other sci-fi franchises, cough Star Wars, is that the difficulty of pronouncing all of these things. compared to many other sci-fi realms.
Yes.
The hardest thing to say in Aliens is xenomorph. That's like not hard at all. So I feel like these words in general for people entry level, Arrakis is hard enough, and then you start adding in all these other things. I think that it makes the common pop appeal of this really hard. But then also the same, like you said, I think even someone, my dad, I watched the original Dune movie so many times when I was a kid. Coming into these new movies, I still had to go back and Google stuff. Like, it was ridiculous. I was like, it's all Michigas in my head now. And it is a very different entry level than any other sci-fi I can think of.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think like, to Lynch's defense, in my opinion, the Lynch film does a way better job just because like of exposition, because although
Well, I think another thing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say that like they just tell you at the beginning of the movie like pretty much everything in like just words. It's just the princess, like Florence Pugh's character, just narrating like
that's Florence
everything in Lynn. Yeah, that's the Emperor's daughter. She just narrates everything about like the spice, the different houses, the Navigators Guild.
Sometimes you need that.
Yes,
yeah,
the human.
Sometimes you just
and then it's pretty much like, and the movie does a pretty good job of only dealing with what's already been established, and then if they bring something new, they then do a little mini exposition for it, like the weirding modules, which they didn't use in,
you already said
part 2.
No.
But yeah, so like this movie, or you're right, the first movie did a lot of exposition, but they didn't, like, this movie all of a sudden brings like the Landsrat, like brings this meeting of the houses, and nobody tells you what a Landsrat is. Nobody tells nobody tells you what the implications of all, like, I mean, again, I know because David Lynch, and I remember, and I looked into it because I like the world, but you like it, so I think the Lynch strategy of like only deal with what is explained, because a lot of fans of Dune criticize the Lynch film for reinterpreting and just leaving stuff out, and it's like, yeah, but
have you seen how big the book is?
yeah, for sure. And for like one, if your goal is to condense it all into like one movie or whatever, make some kind of intelligible film, then
people have the same complaint about Anne Rice things, and I'm like, this big, and we're trying to tell it, and even here we're telling a 2.5, 3 hour story, and you're still really not getting everything. And it's still like, wait, what was that?
And I think one thing, and this is just my memory, I could be totally off, but from what I remember, I think visually as well, the Lynch film was better at differentiating, say, the different groups of people, like the different
bordering on problematic though.
Oh yes, bordering on
problematic.
The thing with this is that visually everything in Lynch's film was so distinct, whereas the world in this movie, yes, there are aesthetic choices made for each respective group, except the whole movie looks very similar. It's just like a wash.
Yeah, there is a color wash kind of thing.
The lighting doesn't change. Like, we're dealing with the Harkonnens, the lighting doesn't change from when we're dealing with anyone else, and I feel like that's kind of a miss. The cinematography is great, but like maybe the art direction could have been a little bit different as far as like, let's bring this down, bring it up, make it vibrate. Something like.
Although the shout out to the black and white sun scene, that was okay on Gadi Prime or whatever, the Harkonnen's planet. Gadi, whatever the heck.
Oh wait, I want to highlight this funny comment. Can you read that?
Quiznos Haddock Rack.
The Tuesday special.
If that's the question tonight and I still don't know how to spell it, I'm gonna
cry. Spelling it. Oh God.
I still don't know how to spell it.
I think I could do it.
I don't think
it starts with a K.
Phonetic.
Well, we'll see, and definitely don't look it up between now and game. What was I getting to? Oh yeah. No, my issue with Dune is an entry into this world as a novice, as someone who's just essentially watching a movie, is a very difficult time, and then it makes me question, like, is this a property that is better left as written material? I think it, as we've already touched on, like, there's so much information that I think if you're digesting it as a book, that's one thing, but to be able to effectively communicate it as a film is another thing. And to that point, it makes me wonder, and this movie did a little bit better, but my issue with the first movie was I kept thinking, what am I meant to get out of this narrative as an audience member? Like, what is the theme? What is the lesson? What am I supposed to learn or whatever? And this did a lot better, I think, in terms of the religious component. It was a little hit you over the head with it, but I liked that, and I found that interesting. But I guess my question here is, what is the point of Dune? What do you think we're meant to take away, either from the books or the movies, or just like Dune? Why do we care about Dune? Let's start with Vince. I feel like Vince will have a lot to say on this.
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot. You can get a lot of introspective from this. Like I think you can go in and like realize like, okay, there's clearly a religious angle here. They're commenting on religious fundamentalism. Like a lot of people view it as like, you got Paul the savior, the white savior. It's problematic, written in the 60s, but I think the film acknowledges that it's problematic because the Bene Gesserit, they're corrupt. You don't know what the hell they're up to, but they were trying to do something that Lady Jessica screwed up, because it was Lady Jessica was supposed to have a daughter, and that daughter was supposed to birth the Kwisatz Haderach. And yeah, it's true.
According to you.
Yeah. And but she like willed the fetus to become male, like because Bene Gesserit can do that, and that was a big deal. Like that was covered in the first film.
Yeah.
And in this film, like they don't really expand on that. But I don't know, where was I going?
What generation have made? Like, what's wrong with getting an early Kwisatz Haderach?
That's a very good question.
Well, the obvious answer would be timing, right? Like the Bene Gesserit, like explicitly plan over time, so they plan for things to happen at certain points in time.
Yes. So, I think the plan was always for the Atreides to get wiped out, except for the daughter of Lady Jessica, who would go on to marry a Harkonnen, and then their offspring would be the real Kwisatz Haderach. But would that have even worked? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Back to the question.
There's also
what are we meant to take from this narrative?
What are we meant to take from Lord of the Rings? This is, I guess Lord of the Rings is
everything.
Good versus evil.
Good versus evil. I don't even like Lord of the Rings, and I can see the value in Lord of the Rings versus Dune.
We're supposed to question what is good, what is evil in Dune, and that was a big deal in the 60s. Like that's when the book came out, right? Some point in the 1960s.
65 was the first one.
65. Okay.
I feel like maybe they were questioning the political system potentially, because this all feels really church versus state, church against whatever. Like this all feels church and state to me, but again, it's not quite as blatant as some other franchises.
This is about Lady Jessica's right to choose. And I support that. That's my takeaway.
Can we talk about how freaking creepy those fetal scenes are in the end of this movie? I don't like them at all. Like I really.
But
they like didn't look good at all. The CGI was crappy. It looked like bad CGI. Like I really believe John Travolta could have popped out from anywhere, and I would have been like, "Yeah, this is a Look Who's Talking film." It was
interesting.
Bad.
You thought it was out of place from the rest of the film?
Yes, it was. Like weird looking and weird.
But didn't they have it throughout the whole film? Weren't there like the watery, like there were the check-ins? I don't know.
Sure, but then they actually started showing a fetus like talking to someone. Hello, my daughter's here. Hold on.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, look.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's in the book. Are you gonna cut it out just because it's kind of weird?
No, it's fine. I just wish they would have done it better. Like,
and yet that got Best Cinematography nominated, and other movies didn't.
Yeah, I don't. I think
there
maybe
was some
if it would have been like in her mind, and there was like a shot of the outside of her stomach, that would have been cool. I would have gotten it. But instead we have a CGI fetus, like. Mommy, and I'm like, oh my God, stop.
I'm coming for you, world. I believe in you, Paul.
It did look like something out of a video game called Death Stranding. I don't know if any of you are familiar,
Oh yeah,
but there's a lot of fetal shots in that game.
love a good fetus.
Yeah.
Love a good fetus.
Maybe it's just the whole fetus thing in general. I'm just like, maybe not.
Oh man.
I didn't like pregnancy too much. It's okay.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Tell me
Hey,
what more. I don't want to see
better
it.
if your
Good,
baby
get out of
has
here.
Put me to sleep.
awareness
Get
of
it out.
smoke feet. That's the question.
Okay.
Yeah. I much preferred when it was just her seemingly talking to herself, but you knew it was to the baby. I was like, okay, this is effective.
Right?
This is effective. Yeah.
I didn't mind I can't even picture the scene you're talking about at the end. Like I picture multiple scenes of like liquid and maybe a bit of red, and
I don't remember the
fetus
mouth
sex.
moving. Was there actually?
The mouth did not move. That is just my interpretation of what was happening. But they literally were showing it like "Look Who's Talking" style.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
floating in the sack and it's talking. Like the voice is coming
Maybe
out
it
of
was. So here's the thing, in the, I think maybe they're like doing a
Vince,
kind
I
of-
gotta ask you, have you seen Look Who's Talking? You're looking at me like I'm
I
a
have
little crazy.
no idea what this is.
Okay. Look Who's Talking was a series of films with Kirstie Alley and John Travolta
Oh,
in the early 90s, and babies talk. And they have like little fetuses at the beginning and little sperm and eggs talking.
No.
And like, yeah.
oh,
So it's Bruce Willis's voice, like voicing the sperm, and then eventually
oh.
maybe. So there's this montage at the beginning where he's like, "Oh, look, here I go, Oh, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win."
Yeah.
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 It's a great movie, but in Dune, I don't want it. Like, I love Look Who's Talking. It's one of my favorite early 90s films, but
Yeah, there are in the Lynch film there when they show the navigators, which are the kind of genetically modified or mutated people or creatures that navigate through space, basically bend space to get ships to where they need to go.
Yeah.
Powered by spice. They're often portrayed. Well, they're in that film. They're in these like tanks and they're floating in like liquid. And then there are scenes where they're like floating in galaxies. My point being is that maybe there's a bit of a connection with Alia, where they're like that scene was less of her in the womb and more of her in like some kind of ethereal spice fueled plane. I'm just trying to like explain why it might have looked bad if you're thinking that it's like a womb shot as opposed to it being this like ethereal fantastical place or whatever. I still don't remember the scene, so
I'm gonna literally Google womb shot Dune 2 right now and see what comes up. I'm just gonna see
do it.
womb scene.
I think you're just gonna
Dune
see
2.
you're just gonna see Ferguson with her like slight baby
No,
bump or
it
whatever.
is here. Oh my god,
it
there's
is?
literally so many people talking about it. Oh my god, like I am not
vindicated.
Hold on, wait.
No, which camera? Which?
Yeah, there it is.
That's like a chipmunk.
And that's not even the best shot of it. There's a whole like pink
Yeah,
shot of
yeah.
it, and hold on. There's like this.
Yeah,
and it's
okay,
talking
okay.
Looks
while
like a
they're
shrimp.
showing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking dinosaur. I don't know why. My mind went to Jurassic Park or something.
All of those are accurate. We are descended from all of those things.
It's
So
true.
we look
Stardust.
like both of those things at some point in the womb.
I have an answer, by the way, to the question, but
Oh yeah, please do.
So two things. One, and Dune fans may come at me for this, but one, I'm under the impression that the author, like, I think explicitly has gone over what Dune is supposed to be about, and I believe there are like, for example, probably like it's like pretty convoluted idea. I think when you get into it, like he had, I think. I don't remember precisely, but what I remember is because let me just go into the second point, which is that Dune seemingly these, especially part 1 and part 2 of Denis Villeneuve's kind of Dune, it's about or at least it's literally the narrative is seemingly about a jihad, a holy war headed by this super powerful being that results in terrible things happening. So that's like the literal side of it, right? Like everything in the like up until now, because we've gotten because you somebody I think maybe Vince, you brought up White Savior, and there definitely is that in the film, but it is countered or balanced consistently from this first film and the second film by this idea that Paul is predicting terrible things happening if he goes down this path. So it's not like the movie is not, and the universe in the movie is not setting us up for like some, like Paul will be the hero to save the galaxy. It's setting us up for Paul will lead a holy war that results in massive tragedy and death.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And we have a Dune 3 coming. So,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is Dune 3
and
massive
to
tragedy
your
and death
point,
edition.
Alex, I did look it up because you're right. I had heard Paul. I always want to say Aber because that's where I grew up, but I think it's Herbert. Talk about it before, and it's supposed to be a warning against messianic figures and the idea of great men, but also commenting on politics and their relation to human suffering.
There you go. So
yeah.
I think, so like in terms of what Dune's about, that like it's less of a a classic Messiah story of he comes in, saves the day, all is well now because he's the chosen one, and more of a he is the chosen one, he is the Messiah.
What does that cause?
Yeah. But the result is horrible, like horror.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess if we had to guess right now, being that I never did read past like the first third of the first book, and that was in middle school. I assume that this unborn sister is the one that will then come and save.
Maybe,
the world.
maybe. I mean, if they're again, I don't know how the books. I know the books have like lots to them, and I know they go far.
Or is she born and then they get 2 dogs, and those dogs talk too? It's amazing.
That was my favorite in the franchise.
Well, she's. I don't know if this is true in the lore, but I think Vince brought this point up of how I guess the Bene Gesserit wanted to plan for Alia, or not Alia, but planned for Paul's mother's mother to have a daughter who then birthed the Kwisatz Haderach. So in a sense, Alia is the daughter that would birth the Kwisatz Haderach, and so perhaps Alia gives birth at some point to another being.
It's happening anyway,
have another
and both prophecies were true.
We only have one Kwisatz Haderach.
Well, I don't know the rules. Nothing is established.
It is possible to have a false Kwisatz Haderach.
Correct. Yeah, start bringing it back Star Wars, right?
Anakin
was the chosen one to bring balance to the Force. That was actually Luke, but not.
The third installment's actually going to be the rom-com part of the whole series, and they're not going to know their brother and sister. Oh wait, that's Star Wars.
Yeah. Let's bring in random directors to just direct each film of the trilogy to see how that turns out. Gotta love Disney. Brilliant minds over there. Brilliant.
Why? For reinvigorating life into a dying franchise and making it better?
Yeah, Star Wars is so great and popular right now. It's true. It's true.
Doing better than Star Trek.
There you go.
But anyway.
Next to Star Trek, Star Wars is thriving.
Yeah. Anyway.
At least Star
It's
Wars fans
Star
have
Wars
Andor.
podcast.
Not yet. I mean, I personally do not want
to talk about Dune in the zeitgeist and not compare it to Star Wars in some fashion.
I don't know. It's good. It's good.
Lord of the Rings.
Nah.
Sure. I just don't have that backbone in me of Lord of the Rings.
Wait for the Lord of the Rings marathon. No, I would never.
Oh, that would be so good, though.
No.
Let's not touch The Hobbit.
Yay for starting to be the age of dating when Lords of the Rings movies were coming out.
Oh,
that was a lot of fun.
They're good movies, Jeanette.
They're fine.
They're good.
Not,
are they good?
Oh, they are good. You don't have to like everything that's good. You can just admit that it's good, and it's not your taste. That's fine.
It is good. It's just not what a 13-year-old girl wants to see on a date. It's not.
That's fair. All right. Well, I mean, we kind of touched on it. I wanted to talk about the white savior question because in a little bit of Googling, I did see that came up, and that Denis Villeneuve made a statement. I think to the effect of that he wanted this to be a film that questions whether or not that is actually Paul's role or calls it into question, because I think that's been an ongoing discussion with the Dune properties and the books since they came out as to whether or not the author intention is for Paul to legit be a white savior figure, or if the author was trying to subvert that trope. And I do kind of feel like the material narratively fits in that no man's land. I do think that the movie made a choice to paint him as a flawed figure, like as Alex said, that will lead inevitably to tragedy. But I'm just curious, I guess, to hear from everyone. Do you feel like that's been baked into Dune from the beginning, or is that more of an interpretation that this film brings to the story?
I think it's fair to say that, like, when he started off, he wanted to take the messianic figure and turn it on its head. I don't know if he was thinking about skin color. I don't know if Paul Atreides is canonically white. You know, are the Atreides like described as white in the books? I'm sure the Harkonnens are, but I don't know.
Yeah, because they're like pale, like earthly pale.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
but
That's
that's
different, though,
a
too.
good question. So I'm not sure, but it definitely turns it on its head. It makes it see, it makes us question like what is the best way to go forward here, and it's probably not by inciting a race war, but that's where we're going. So we'll see. They took the planet hostage, and now they're in charge of the known universe.
Well,
So
the other interesting aspect of the white saviorism is also that like Paul's whole trajectory is to basically, well, it's interesting. In the eyes of the Fremen, he is effectively like there isn't out like he does try a lot to like he becomes Fremen, right? He becomes a part of their culture, a part of like their tribe. He still holds out consistently. He is still Paul Atreides, right? He is and the Atreides flag still flies and the insignia still is present, all that kind of stuff. So like but my point being is just that like it's less of like the Fremen welcoming this outworlder and his outworlder ways with open arms and being like, oh, this foreigner and his foreign ways will save us. And it's more of like a combination of like, because the prophecy also includes he will know our ways as if born to them, like he will blah 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 blah. So like it includes basically that this outworlder is one of them in some sense. So my point, I don't know to what extent like the white savior trope has those elements of them, as opposed to like white guy comes into this totally foreign kind of system and brings their white power and saves the day with it. Whereas Paul has that element to an extent, but also has that other element of like also being very much.
Yeah, he's fighting for the Fremen.
Yeah,
while still holding his own identity. I get it,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, he is fighting with and for them. And to Vince's point, I don't remember, and maybe Alex can say, I don't remember if in the books, if I'm sure, like we said, they described the Harkonnens as pale, and they described the Fremens as dark.
Yeah,
But I don't know that they describe Paul. I'm sure they must at some point, and I just don't remember. But
yeah,
like,
I don't know. I think it would just be based. They describe the environments, right? Like the planets and that kind of.
I mean, that many pages and that many words, they must say it at some point. I'm sure,
And
but like,
I guess just working off of how he was cast in the David Lynch movie, I feel like Paul's on screen have all looked very similar. Like,
yeah, but that's a Hollywood thing. That could just be Hollywood.
That's what I was just about to say. I'm like, but who is that attributed to? There's only been 2 versions of it, and I mean, chances are you throw a rock in Hollywood, it's going to be a white male that plays the part. So
I need to see definitive proof. I want to read Frank Herbert's words. Paul got a sunburn on his pasty white skin. That something, just lay it on thick, please. Or
there might be a passage.
Tan.
Yeah,
they might like Southern Italian.
I'm trying to Google
Atreides sounds Sicilian.
See,
it's in my
problem with all
thing.
Yeah.
This is
there you go.
Why justice for Ala? Like, do we just want more of her, or sorry, I got distracted.
Well, yeah, I could answer that. Yeah, there's a reason why. There's always a reason.
Go. Let's hear
it. Because in the Lynch film, she's born and she has sick moments in the Emperor's like dome where like she's screaming at like the Baron and shit, and being like, do you like that, Baron? You like my brother whooping your ass, Baron? Ha 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 ha! And so I wanted more of that.
You wanted
Nice.
Anya Taylor-Joy to do that?
I don't
Paul-
care for her doing it, but sure, she's Alia, so yeah.
Paul Atreides is actually described as having Greek or Mediterranean features, not white.
Which I think the Lynch, what's his name? I think he can, like, he's not strong in that
Kyle
category, but he's
Kyle MacLachlan. It can be a little
Anything.
ambiguous depending on his makeup.
yeah.
Like he can
That's what I mean.
I feel like he can be like Slavic or he can be Mediterranean. Like he
Yeah.
couldn't play like Indian, but like
No, yeah.
depending on the makeup, I feel
Yeah.
like you could bring him a few different places. Yeah.
And his father definitely could fit well in like the Greek Mediterranean category in the Lynch film. So could this guy, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar.
You know.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oscar Isaac
Yeah.
would have probably been a better choice for Paul Atreides. Now
Oscar
that
would
we're
have been
looking
such
at
a
that
too
and
old.
the acting.
Too old. But yeah.
Oh,
That's
I would suspend my disbelief for Oscar Isaac. I had to suspend
same.
to believe that he was Timothy Chalamet's dad. So.
Literally everything I read says he has an olive complexion.
Okay.
In the books. So it does seem like an odd choice at this point in history to not choose someone with an olive complexion. That does seem very strange.
Yeah, they got the palest guy in the game to do it.
Dark hair and green eyes, so that
Hey,
part's closer, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. The audition sold it. What can we say? You know?
It'd be funny if they got a Sicilian guy to play Bob Dylan, though. That would be a good.
Oh God, I'm so glad we're not watching that movie. Oh my God, I can't take any more Chalamet.
I still had to watch it. It was great. And if he wins,
I might watch it if I make it through everything else.
it's a movie. So let's talk about Timmy. Let's talk about Timmy in this movie. How do we feel about Timmy Chalamet as Paul Atreides? Do we think what do we think? I want to hear your thoughts.
I think that that water collection suit of his did great favors for his ass. You know, because I was trying
and
to look
his
at
chest. He's got.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing going on there.
I know.
It beefs him up for sure.
I was trying to look at Zendaya, who had a great ass in Challengers. I don't know if we're going to talk about Challengers.
She has a great ass in
ass and everything. It was not heavily featured in this film. Then you have Big Cake Chalamet walk in. Like, oh my goodness. So anyway, yeah, no, I thought that was all right.
They made sure to get his hair in there. Plenty. They got his hair in there every chance they freaking got.
Yep, I saw him doing press for this film. He seemed very coked up. I think he's at that phase of his famedom right now. He's enjoying the party lifestyle. Party all night, do some uppers in the morning to do the promotion circuit, take an afternoon nap.
Stop.
That's the Chalamet lifestyle for the last year.
I don't think Zendaya would stay with him if he was. Oh, he's not. Never mind. That's Tom Holland. See, I get them confused all the time. I get Timothy Chalamet and they look so similar in my brain. I don't know why. To me, they look very.
Okay.
I feel like this is what people must feel like when I say I confuse Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, no. Cameron Diaz looks like if you took Gwyneth Paltrow's face and went. Like this.
In a good way.
Sure. Neither are my type. But I don't know why I get them confused, but I agree. Chalamet, they showed all of his up here physique and then they tried to make this look better.
Yeah, there is a level of like I do find myself always going whenever I see him fight in the Dune films, I'm always like, he's a very like thin guy. Like
it's so silly. He looks so silly fighting.
I mean, I guess there's room for technique and
with the shields, it's not all about strength. That's why Dave Bautista keeps getting his ass kicked in this movie. You need to be a skinny guy.
I wanted more Dave Bautista and freaking what's his face? Why can't I say it right now? Austin Butler. I wanted more. I just want a Bautista and Butler movie. I thought Austin Butler kicked the crap out of Chalamet in acting, personally.
Yeah.
The role demanded more of Austin Butler. There's no doubt about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
there's
still
that
stand
element.
by. I would have loved to have seen Austin as Paul, but Denny didn't
Yeah,
ask
but
me.
he looks really good. He almost looks like a freaking Skarsgård. I know there is a Skarsgård in this movie, but he looks like a Skarsgård in that makeup. I think Aaron told me he thought it was Bill Skarsgård. I was like, no, that's
Yeah, the
Austin
It actor,
Butler.
right? The guy
What's
who plays It.
Yeah, It
Yeah.
and Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Yeah, and The
Yeah.
Crow, but I guess we won't talk about that, unfortunately. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks so
Nosferatu
bad.
either.
That's okay. We can review the old one.
Yeah. When are we doing The Crow? No, I'm joking.
I don't even know what The Crow is.
Next Halloween. Crow,
Get out
Mothman
of
prophecies.
I have I'll do an honorable mention to my vendetta against the way they use shields in this new trilogy of Dune. It's such a disservice to both the lore and the Lynch interpretation, but specifically even just forgetting Lynch, just the lore. Because the whole thing with the shields, and they have the famous line, the slow blade penetrates the shield, right? And they have a whole freaking moment dedicated to showcasing how you hit the shield, but you go slow, and that's what penetrates the shield.
Yep.
And
I remember that. Yep.
every single time after, there's no slow nothing penetrates the nothing. It's hit it with the shield, and it'll penetrate the shield randomly.
The shield is there to prevent bullets from getting through. So as long as you're slashing your knife slower than a bullet,
blade penetrates the shield. Vince,
Yeah,
it's
they
a
just
line
show
in the book and in the
no,
film.
because they're trying. That's why they keep messing up, because they keep riding that.
Yes.
They're trying to ride that line. They're trying to go as fast as they can.
They show,
Well,
and there's no, and they explicitly show that you have to go slow. There's no just the other scenes. There's nobody going slow. They're whacking each other with the blades, and they're killing each other by whacking each other with the blades, not slowly.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're the Temu shields that, like,
yeah,
maybe they don't work that well.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, so
they lost all the good shields when the Atreides got wiped out.
Well, nobody has good shields. Everybody, the Sardaukar, the Emperor's freaking guards, they don't have the good shields either, apparently.
You got me there.
Paul,
they could have slowed down the movie a little bit more.
Yeah,
you're right.
Actually,
you're
you know
right.
What? I'll try that. I'll try rewatching the films at like 0.5 speed or something, and maybe it'll look believable. No, I'll try to give brief thoughts about Paul, which is about Timothée Chalamet for me. Which I think in this film, the first film he's like just dead stick the whole time. In this film, I did like the scene where he's in. Are they called Zeeches? Zeeches, is that the name for the Fremen cities? They have a name. I don't. That's the one that's coming to my mind. But anyway, when he's in the Fremen city and he basically stands in the middle of all those people worshiping him, and he starts yelling at them that I'm the overlord of, I'm the ultimate badass. I like that. I mean, it's simple fun basically. But Chalamet does like. It's a scene where I do buy that Chalamet believes, like, again, contrasting to the fighting scenes where I'm looking at Chalamet, I'm like, you're he's like 5'11" or something. He's not short, but he's thin. He's very, very tiny in that regard. Yeah. And so I see him fighting. I'm like, it's kind of hard to believe this. But when I saw him get up there, I believed that he believed.
Also,
that he was
his aggressive face is like, it's not an aggressive face. Like, his aggressive face doesn't make me think aggression.
This might be contradictory to the point that I made. I don't know.
It's like Blue Steel. When he does aggressive face, it's like, I'm like, all right, dude. Yeah, seriously. No, he does like hard eyes. Like, and I'm like, is that your angry face?
Okay, but when he's yelling,
face. He has one face.
No, he has a different face in the scene that I'm talking about. When he's yelling that he's the ultimate badass, he has a different face than the Blue Steel face. All right.
Do you watch that
just
when you
the
go
Blue
to sleep,
Steel
Alex?
face, but a little bit louder.
On the Paul Atreides.
Yes. This is what I go to sleep with. These are my sleep sounds, my lullabies. Yeah. No. So anyway, so I think we, like, by virtue of that, there are some moments he does have the whole, like, I mean, it's not, I don't like the scene where he's like, I think he yells at his mother or something. They're having like a little convo away from the Fremen, and I forget what they say.
That's always a red flag, I should say. Yelling at his mom.
But anyway, so I think we saw some interesting stuff from Timothy that we didn't see in the first film that I appreciated. I agree with your point, Jeanette, that I'm just uninterested by. I mean, I have a slight bias against Zendaya Dea myself personally. I haven't loved anything, but I haven't seen a ton from her. I've seen her in like the Spider-Man film. That might be it. So I know she.
I remember her
Challengers.
show. She started it. I haven't seen Challengers yet. The show she started in on, like, I think it was Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
She honestly, like, sometimes, like Ariana Grande comes out of that. Like people, good actors come out of that. And I remember she is very funny, and I think that's just what I like from her. Is funny. Like, I think she is very good at. Not that I'm saying she can't play a dramatic role that has some comedy in it. I just don't want anything she does to be devoid of comedy, because then I feel like she feels dry. We're like really dry. Like, I don't remember literally any specific scene that she did in this movie. Like, you're remembering this scene with Timothée Chalamet. Like, I can't remember one specific scene where I'm like, oh, that thing she
I
said,
remember
that thing she did.
She looks at him like intensely. There are like 3 different scenes where she's just staring at Timothy, and then turns around and walks away. She does that same thing like 3 different times in the movie. She just steps up, stares at him, and angrily, and then walks away.
And we could have had more. We could have had more Christopher Walken, Dave Bautista.
Yes, I'm with you. More cowbell, more Walken. I'm in for it. Daughter, what do you? What say you marry this Paul?
He wasn't even acting.
I will defend Zendaya. I think she's a great actor. Just generally, to me, she was just doing everything that Timmy wasn't doing. Where I felt that she was invested. I believed that she believed everything she was doing, and not like she was just reading lines monotonously, which is what I think Timmy does, at least in this film, except for when he's yelling lines monotonously. I totally felt like a level of stakes and investment from her that I was missing for most of the first movie, from any character, really. So, yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed her. Maybe it was because I was trying to find something to grasp onto to like in this movie, and it was her. So maybe stakes were a little bit lower for me, but she delivered something to me that Timmy wasn't given. So there we go.
Well, for me and Jeanette, Zendaya helped elevate Timmy.
I don't mind her. She's not bad. Here's my feeling about Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. There were 10 worse actors that could have played those roles, but there were 10 better actors that could have played those roles. Like, serviceable.
Yeah.
Who would you have play Cheney?
Chani?
Cheney.
Chani. I don't know. I guess, honestly, if we're just going to talk about who was the better female performer in this movie and who I wanted to be playing a larger role,
you would have been a great Chani.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you would have been a great
she
Chani.
Probably could have done better as Chani, and Zendaya could have done better in the super cool fashiony outfits, just saying 10 lines.
Give Zendaya the like boring effort. Although they made her more.
That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, if you just want somebody to look pretty and say 12 lines, put Zendaya in it and put Florence Pugh in the parts where I really want to be invested. The problem is, if you put Florence Pugh and Zendaya's part in these movies, she's going to outshine Timothée Chalamet to the point where this movie's not going to get nominated. Like, she's going to make him look like crap.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, he already looks like crap.
Although she wasn't nominated for freaking Oppenheimer, and Emily Blunt was, right? So
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, but Emily Blunt.
Hollywood hates the nipple. It's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Exactly.
I just hate the nipple.
I feel like Emily Blunt had like the Oscar nominatable role. I think Florence Pugh in Oppenheimer, like, she did well with what she had. I just don't think it was like an Oscar role, personally.
I guess. I'm just saying, Emily Blunt was like, I literally forgot she was even. I'm like, whatever.
I remember the weird accent. She had a weird accent. Yeah.
She had a good fun scene though.
She did. She had a lot of fun scenes. But yeah. Anyway, speaking of nominations, next thing I want to talk about, this movie was nominated for the following Oscars. Here we go: Best Picture, Best Cinematography, Production Design, Sound, and Visual Effects. Do we think that makes sense across the board? Are those categories?
Do we notice there are no acting nominations?
Of course. And I think that makes sense. Yeah,
I agree.
Yes.
Did you say directing too, or no?
No. He didn't get
so no directing, no acting. Go.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, just saying.
I think this was a well-directed film. Like, I don't know.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Again, I think this enters into the realm of like what specifically, like where where lines blur, right? Like I
Where
can
does the
point.
screenplay end and the directing begin?
Yeah, and where does
Okay.
anything end and the directing begin, right? Because the director technically has has domain like or control over so many aspects, but like like the director can make a choice that affects like the production design, that affects
But if it's not on
costuming.
the paper to begin with,
Yeah, for sure,
like
right? So
you
so
can't
that's
create it out of thin air necessarily.
yeah, unless unless the screenwriter's also the director or
You
whatever.
can, but
But
yeah.
but yeah, so it's like I don't know. For me, basically, when I look at the flaws that I detect in the film, like the pacing, the delivery of something I like Zendaya's performance, Timothy's performance, if you want, like that's the thing. I always levy some like Timothy. I guess like so Zendaya I'm more forgiving with than Timothy because Timothy has been pretty consistently boring for me in the things that I've seen him in. Zendaya also, but but I've heard more good things about Zendaya.
He's
You know,
also explicitly an actor, and she is a fashion model, an actor, and a business mogul. Like she does all
I
three of
see.
those things.
She got you. He's like supposed to be
So
like
I'm
more
like a little bit
specialized.
more okay with her being like an okay actress, whereas
Yeah,
with him
yeah,
being
yeah.
like not great, but still being in Oscar nominated films all the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, like I think anyway, basically yeah, any problem that I have with the film, I'm always gonna like or not always, but I think it's valid to at least ask the question like how much of this could be direction, you know? So because the director ultimately, is the person behind the film to an extent, right? Creatively. So it's like, you authorize this. This is your name's on it. So you're happy with with this product. So any of the problems in the product you are in some sense responsible for. Not necessarily by virtue of you caused them, but you put your name on them and approve them in the end. Granted, I know it's not always like it's not like a black and white thing to say. There's production elements and whatever, but deadlines and whatnot. But yeah. So
too, that's the other thing. I think a lot of the things that might be flawed with the film could be the production company or the people who are funding it playing their hand a little too heavily to say like we need, like for example, we need Timothy Chalamet to play Paul.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess to that point, my perspective, weirdly, which is even weird for me to say, yeah, I almost feel like the best director snub is in fact a snub. I do think there is merit to the direction of this movie, even though I don't love it. It's the same philosophy I have, which I guess we'll discuss whenever we talk about Wicked, but I also think John M. Chu was snubbed for Wicked. And my whole philosophy there is I think to make a movie of this scale, especially on when it's based on an existing property, and if it's done well, I think that merits recognition. And like, I don't care for Dune, but just in watching it, I do feel like it is a very well realization of
and it's unique. Like it is. You can tell it's his.
Yeah, like he came in with a perspective, which I appreciate, and he was able to just bring it to life. It's kind of like the Peter Jackson thing with Lord of the Rings. Again, I don't care for it, but I can appreciate the amount of work that went into like taking something that only exists as words on a page and then realizing it in such a way that it is doing service to a lot of fans' expectations. I think, at least, I'm not too up on what the fans think of this movie, but I feel like if you're able to do that in a way that works, to my mind, that deserves a nomination. Like, I think it's a lot of work, and if you do it well, which I think it's overall done well, not without flaws, like I would get the nomination, but not the award.
I would love to see what the ratio of how many best directors of original screenplays versus directors of adapted screenplays have been nominated/won. Because I feel like it is a little bit harder to get nominated as a director of an adapted screenplay, especially if your adapted screenplay has already been a movie before. In the case of Dune, I feel like this guy is at a grave disadvantage. I can't remember if Dune 1 was nominated for director.
Oh, no, not for director.
No, so I feel like that is something that he's just having to contend with. David Lynch, who is not only has done it before, but is extremely well known and is now posthumously being celebrated. Like, it's like, I think this guy's fighting against a much bigger current than many other directors, for sure, no matter what you think about him.
Yeah. Although I was under the impression that the Lynch Dune was critically like
It was snubbed.
was
Yeah, they didn't
panned,
like
Got
it.
panned, yeah.
But later in his life, people look back and go, "That's the Lynch do." Like
Yeah,
it just stands in
Yeah.
infamy, regardless
It
of how
was-
you feel about it.
It was the blockbuster Clerks that sold Dune to the public. You know, it was your guy, your local video store was like, "Oh, you got to see this."
It was
buddy."
the audience score.
And
Yeah.
it was the Radio Shack crowd. It was the
Yeah.
nerds like my dad who were like,
Yeah.
"Look at the special effects.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is so good." Like
Yeah,
my dad would go off when that thing was on. My dad was just on a cloud nine. Like,
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the cinematography? Because I think that my thought is that that's the one that's most likely to win. It did win the first time for cinematography, which I wasn't a fan of then. Yeah,
I think it's appropriate. I liked the wide shots of expansive sand. I liked the close-ups of the little machine that went up and down.
the close-ups.
The harvester.
Yeah. Oh, come on. The scene where he's riding
the
the
thumper.
sandworm. We haven't even talked about riding the sandworm yet.
But see, that's
That
what
was
I wanted was more
wonderful.
sandworm, more little ground
They
pounders.
gave a lot of
And he's
sandworm.
gotta get his
They gave a
hooks.
lot of sandworm.
He's got to get his hooks into the respiratory flaps so it doesn't go under. If it goes under,
Yeah,
he's
so
dead.
Exactly, yeah. So
Yeah.
he can keep the worm
Yeah.
above ground, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. You know, I mean, look, I don't think there's any departure in quality in the cinematography between Dune 2 and Dune 1.
No, but I
And-
think when we're talking about cinematography, I mean, specifically cinematography and cinematography, costume, things like that, where multiple movies might have what people would consider to be the best. You got to look at the competition.
Mhm.
And what I found is there's one movie that's not nominated for directing, for Best Picture, for acting, but it's nominated for all the technical awards, and it's Nosferatu. I have not seen it yet. I'm very sad about that. But I have a very deep feeling that could be a strong contender. Also, The Brutalist, everybody's like, "Oh, you gotta go see it in the theaters." It's blah 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 blah. And like,
There's an intermission.
In the theaters. I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm not gonna do that to myself. I am a stoner, and I cannot do that to myself.
No,
So
no, it's
I will
okay.
not go see it in the theaters.
There's an
4 hours is too
intermission.
long.
Halfway through, they have to flip the film around, so you go out and you hack your dart and you smoke your Bob Marley special and fucking you call it a
So-
day. You go back in, watch the second hour
I'm
of The
gonna wait till I
Brutalist.
can just sit on my couch and watch it. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I will say that I noticed one thing was not nominated, and when we get to it, we'll talk about it. There's some movie called Maria that's nominated. Don't know what that is, but but Conclave is not nominated for cinematography. And when we watch that, I'll tell you that's an enormous travesty. But I think with
We
this
will see.
lineup, I think Dune 2 stands a very good chance.
That's because Hollywood hates Catholics.
Probably.
That's fine. I'm not fond of them myself, but no offense to anybody. I'm just saying,
As-
like, it's not like I'm reaching out for them or anything. But yeah,
As someone who was born Catholic, we suck. So-
I was born Baptist. It's worse. But I'm just saying, it is a tight category. Other than I don't know what the F Maria is. I don't see it on any other awards, to be completely honest, except for this one.
It's the Angelina Jolie movie where she's an opera singer.
I'm gonna guess
Oh.
it's not any good.
Oh, is it part of the Tar expanded universe?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Oh my god. There it is.
Oh, that was the best one the whole episode, Vince. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
I
that really
haven't
tickled
seen any of these other films. I don't know. My emotional hope was that Wicked would get a cinematography nomination because I just really loved the cinematography in Wicked.
No, that's
No?
not gonna happen.
I knew it wasn't going to happen. I wanted to. Actually, I thought maybe it could happen. I didn't think it would win. I thought maybe it could happen.
I got done watching Conclave and went, "Oh, this is certainly nominated for cinematography." And I opened it and I was like,
Really? It's not a movie that I would think to have good cinema. I mean, I haven't seen it, but just based on the premise, I'm like, oh, I just assume this is like a bunch of
Freaking-
people talking in churches.
"So good, so good."
Okay. Still, though, the cinematographer for Wicked, she made Elphaba fly. It looked really pretty. It was great. It was magical.
Cool.
There's some good stuff there. There's some good stuff there.
They were able to do that in 1940.
How?
They made her fly. They made Elphaba fly.
Well, that was
kidding me?
1939.
Oh, 1939. My mistake.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, they were still doing it in 1940. But...
Yeah.
It wasn't flying then. Put a string on her, and they fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Centuries old technology.
Exactly,
Millennia.
exactly. Made her fly. Anyway, there it is. Yeah. What else?
Are they not? Was one of the categories that they took out this year editing?
What?
Oh, I think editing still.
That's
film
like the
editing.
most
there it is.
important
There it is.
thing.
I see it. I see
Wicked
it. I was
was
like, wait, did
nominated
they
for that.
take editing? I knew they were taking some awards out. They take out like 1 or 2 every freaking year.
No, but next year they're adding best casting director. So that's
Yes, they are. Yes,
So,
it's very exciting.
Luke.
That sounds terrible.
No, that's
Oh, it's
great.
awesome.
Casting
Amazing.
director.
Literally what we're talking about right now with
Exactly.
Timothée Chalamet.
Exactly.
Well, but it's I don't know. I feel like the same thing, like the whole producer point that Matt made. Like I feel like casting directors
Are unappreciated for the ridiculous amount of work that they do in the industry.
I do
that
think
nobody
their job is
appreciates.
a little bit subjective to people's schedules, and it's not their fault if they couldn't get somebody that they were supposed to get.
Well,
But
yeah, I think. Well, that's what I think in Prince. I mean, I don't know. I'm relatively ignorant, but I have worked with casting directors in the past, and like my understanding or my impression is that they often have to deal with so many. Like I don't get me wrong. I'm not poo-pooing what the work they do. I'm saying that the end result isn't necessarily
what
indicative
they
of
wanted.
what they and like strictly what they did, like as opposed to what a producer decided was going to happen versus what they were trying to get done. So
I'm excited for it though, regardless.
Cool.
Yeah. No, give them Oscars.
I do agree with you. I feel you on that.
Well, no, I think the thing with that is like what they do is just vastly misunderstood. And I think the Oscar hopefully will shine more light on what they do. But,
We need a category for fight choreography then.
well, I mean, technically there should be one for stunt work, which the stunt
Yeah, okay.
vendors have been pulling for.
MTV has Best Fight
Yeah.
every year at the
Yeah.
VMAs or
Oh,
at
that-
the movie awards, MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah, no, hopefully I think casting and stunts are the two categories that I've hoped in the last few years they'd eventually recognize. So casting is there, but stunt work, like the Stunt Performers Association or whatever, like their union, or I don't know if they have their own union. Either way, there is an award show that just they do because the Oscars haven't acknowledged them for a long time. And it's always interesting to see every year what gets nominated. The girl who got hit by a car for Devil Wears Prada, I know she won one like 20 years ago. So
for getting hit by a car,
Might have been Zoe. Zoe Bell's huge. She's the one that was in Death Proof. She's been in a bajillion things.
nice. So maybe she got hit by a car instead of Emily Blunt. That could have been her. Maybe she got the award.
Now that's acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
well,
Okay. Sound and visual effects. That's what else it's up for. Oh, and production design. I don't know.
Oh,
I
come
don't
on.
think it should win production design. Not up against. Hold on, I'm getting to not up against who it's up against.
Who is it up against?
No, Wicked, Nosferatu, Conclave, and The Brutalist.
Yeah, no.
I feel like so much of this is, and I know production design is also the CGI, but I'm looking at like set dressing. That's like what my eye hones in on. Wicked's a lot of CGI too, but like Nosferatu, Conclave, I probably wouldn't give it to either. I haven't seen The Brutalist. It's very time period specific, and those tend to edge into these. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd give it to
I
this.
like the production design in Dune. I agree. I think like Wicked, I would probably give the edge to Wicked in terms of winning. But I don't think that Dune, like I don't think there's any problem with it being nominated. I'm not very familiar with all the other like nominees and contenders. In terms of winning,
I don't think anybody else is like, I wouldn't say The Substance deserved any production design nod
I
or
agree.
anything. I think Nosferatu is probably the one I would give the edge over Dune in this category.
Yeah, I think the production design in Dune is really good. It's just I think it's coherent, which I like. And again, to world building, even though I don't love it subjectively, I think it's good and it works. It just to me feels very one note in a way that's just not that exciting. Like as much so as Nosferatu probably would be if I was not too scared to watch it, or as Wicked was, which I enjoyed watching. And
Speaking of one note, that sound that the sandworm caller kept making, I think that was pretty good sound, perhaps worthy of
An
an
Oscar.
award. Yeah.
The heartbeat sound of a thumper.
Oh, that was so good. Or the sound effect they used when Zendaya hit the
Drum
punch the
stand.
ground. Yeah,
Boom, boom.
that was good.
Are
you
you
know-
joking?
I'm not joking.
It's
I
just
think this is
I'm
going
not
to win
joking.
this category.
There was
This category.
satisfying
No, I like that
sound.
sound. No, it is. The Dune has a lot of these very deep, like these sounds
Yes.
that identify these different things, and they set it off in your head. And I'm looking at the other
Ooh.
nominees. I think that this,
But
unless
Wild
the
Robot-
freaking Bob Dylan movie gets it for some
No,
strange reason.
It's so weird to see an animated film though nominated for best sound. Like, has that happened before?
I think because it's
Oh, I'm
robot
sure.
noises. Anytime there's like robot noises in something, Transformers was nominated for this every year, and it wasn't nominated for anything else.
Hang on, did Civil War get nominated for best sound?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
think so.
Okay, I think that wins because that was some of the best gunshots I've ever
this
heard.
year.
Well, not this year. Last year.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah.
Civil War was nominated last year.
Oh,
I
was
believe
it?
so. Was it?
So, or no, maybe it came out last year.
I think it came out last
You're
year.
right. It was
Oh, well,
snubbed.
then
It was
no.
snubbed.
It's
It was
not nominated for Jack.
It got
Diddley.
snubbed. Oh, that is.
You know why? Because it came out right
criminal.
after the freaking Oscars. That's why I'm thinking it came out during the Oscars. I think it came out literally like right after.
Yeah,
There it is.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the other nominees in the sound category, like Amelia Perez is a musical, and so is Wicked. So I guess those are contentious, but I don't think just because you're a musical, you should win the sound award. Like that seems
Although-
silly.
I don't know. Wicked might have I don't know how these people think, the people who vote and decide on the nominees, but I think Wicked might have the edge for being the most successful application of live singing for a musical, because that is something they incorporated and they did more.
Oh, maybe
effectively
that's
than
why
done previously.
they did live singing on the set.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they didn't. But the
so-
shots that we had weren't the live.
Yes, they
Late-
were.
Les Mis
no.
walked so
Yes,
Wicked could run.
Well, then
no, I
maybe
mean,
if-
you're saying that this anyway.
Well, it was. I think it was a mix, but
Yeah, I don't.
it
I
was-
don't. I mean, I would be. I mean, it was if that's what they did, it was heavily edited because that did not look or sound like the live production of what. Like I believe what we heard was a live production of one of their takes, but I'm not convinced that the one that they used was the one that they was the same.
Sure.
I don't think it was I don't think it was 100% like
Yeah.
one or the other, but
Yeah.
like they
but that
did.
would be why they would win for
Releasing
sound
live
is
on-
because
on
of the
set.
mixing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logically.
Like for
Uh,
example, like the sound that's gone viral with Popular, for example, with where she like screams right, where it's like, did they have brains or knowledge? Don't make me laugh. They were popular, right?
Right.
Like everyone's been using that, citing that as an example of how like the live singing was effective because that was like a one-time in the moment thing that
Yeah.
and because they were doing live like in the
Audio
moment
recording,
they were
yeah,
able to capture that and it became a great moment in the movie. And like that's just one that's come to light specifically. But no, I like definitely I don't think there's I don't believe it's a case where 100% of it was live on set. I don't think 100%.
Yeah.
of it-
Like I don't think they went the Les Mis route.
yeah, they didn't go
Yeah.
the Les Mis route. But no, I think they like learned from Les Mis. And I think that is why, outside of my bias towards all things Wicked, I think there could be an edge to Wicked for sound for that. But again, I don't know how sound people think. So
I'm noticing that Dune 2 is not nominated for adapted screenplay. That I find that interesting. Like no directing, no screenplay, no acting, but literally all the technical awards and Best Picture. Like, how do you get nominated for Best Picture, but all you were nominated for was technical awards, but Nosferatu's not nominated for Best Picture?
well, it's
That
because
doesn't seem fair
we
at
only
all.
had one horror movie, and even that was pushing it for Best Picture.
I will say that's why I picked Substance, because I'm just like, yay. Other than Jordan Peele, there's a horror movie in here.
That's considered.
Yay.
I wanna watch.
And in visual effects, Dune 2 is nominated. Also amongst 2 ape movies, and in the only category that Alien is nominated for, visual effects.
Two
We're
ape
gonna just see
movies.
Yeah, Better Man, which is some sort of
I know
like,
that one. That
Yeah.
it famously bombed.
Yeah,
no
and then
one
Kingdom
here
of the-
knows who Robbie Williams is.
Yeah, other than that one song, literally at the turn of the century, I don't know who Robbie Williams is. Like Millennium, I think was the name of the song.
Now, why is he a monkey?
Well, I think
I
that
don't
was a
know.
creative decision. He would only sell his story to the people writing the film if they made him an ape.
Why though? Is he an ape in real life?
Maybe, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
no
he's
idea.
got ape-like features.
Oh.
But
He's kind of
all I-
average white guy looking. He's just a British white guy.
Oh, so Timothy Chalamet, but British.
No,
Yeah.
no, like older and yuckier looking.
Oh,
Yeah, and then there's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I
So-
want that to win. I love monkey movies.
But of course, I'm gonna root for Alien in this category because it's the only one it's nominated for.
Was that
I
Alien
gotta-
Romulus good? Was Alien Romulus good?
I haven't seen it yet, but I don't care because I know it is. I
gotta see Planet of the Apes.
I can't get to the movies as much as I want, and I tried so hard for Alien. I was like, oh, I gotta go. But yeah, I'll be watching it very soon. But I will still vote for it because I don't care.
All right. Well, we'll see if it wins anything. Yeah, it does feel underwhelming for I think how much of a splash I feel the first movie made. Yeah.
And the fact that it's nominated for Best Picture
yeah.
and only
that's a good.
technical
That's a
awards,
good
I
point.
don't like
yeah.
that. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, I don't want to say that shouldn't be allowed, but I do.
But then Nosferatu should have gotten in over. I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. I don't know. I just literally didn't hear jack diddly about it, other than freaking what is it? There's two movies, Nickel Boys and I'm Still Here.
I'm still here.
Could we
heard
have
about
had
that.
Nosferatu
Mhm.
in there?
No,
Yeah, I'm down
Only
to
one
swap.
horror movie. Only one horror movie gets in.
I don't. I just want to put it out there. I don't. Is it on our list? The substance. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a horror movie.
Yes,
it's like a
the
thriller.
substance is. What do you mean it's not a horror movie?
I mean, I saw it and I don't consider it a horror movie.
Do you know what body? Okay, we'll get into it. Body horror. Body horror.
I'm scared to watch.
Yeah, it's got gore. So what?
Can't do
The
it.
Fly. Is The Fly horror?
I haven't seen it, but from the
Okay.
shots that I've seen, I would
Sci-fi
say
horror
no.
for sure.
If The Fly is horror, then The Substance is
Okay,
horror.
well, I'll see The Fly
Yeah.
one day, and then maybe I'll agree.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna watch The Substance with all the lights on, and
Oh.
hands cuffed.
Matt, I just want to make popcorn for you and just be there with you.
It's not that scary.
It's gonna be. It
It's
sounds
gory. It's
He's
not
gonna
scary.
Yeah, he's gonna freak though.
Not
I-
gonna like
Like
it.
I already know.
Not gonna like it.
Like
I
Game
re-
of Thrones had worse shit.
I read
think.
I read the detailed plot synopsis, and even on the wiki page, I was like, "Oh God, no, I don't want this." But
Yeah,
we're-
okay, you'll get grossed out. Okay.
yeah, that's why that's not the one we're doing on my birthday. Okay. Anyway, let's play the game.
Game time.
Oh,
Let's
Okay.
go.
I think this is a variant of the same game that I did for Dune 1, which is I'm going to show you a word. You have to tell me if it's a word from the Duneverse or if it just made up nonsense because there's no difference. So here we go. And you can get extra points. Hold on. I have to open up
Wait, do we have to write stuff down?
No, you just have to say
Oh, okay. Dune or not Dune?
Dune or not to Dune. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Let me pull up this. Okay. And so you'll get 1 point if you get it right. I'll give you an extra 5 points if you can actually correctly define what the Duneverse words are.
Okay.
But I don't think you're going to be able to do that for any of these, but well, prove me wrong. Okay. Here we go. The first one. This
Oh,
Duneverse word or made up nonsense?
Wait a minute. Is this it? So
Well-
these are these words that you made up alternatively? Like,
There were the words that are not from the Duneverse are words that I had the internet generate for me. I searched random word maker upper.
so
oh,
the premise is that it makes up words that don't actually exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo,
I'm going
that's-
to say Duneverse.
No,
Yeah,
well,
that-
you have to write it down.
Oh, I have to write
Wait,
it.
now we have
You
to
said-
write
you
it
literally
down.
You literally said you don't have to write it down.
Oh,
You just
well,
have to say
I
it.
guess I did say that in my mind. I mean, you don't have to write down different things every time. You can have like,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, unless if you all trust each other to.
I mean,
Okay, I'm
I'm an
ready.
honorable person, I think, but all right.
Oh yeah, show your answers now. Show your answers.
I haven't even written it
Not
yet.
no, not to Dune.
Dune. I'll change the.
Okay. All right. And feel free if you think it's Dune, if you want to put forth what you think it is. That's your
Yeah.
right. But yeah,
I know what it is.
what is
Isn't
it?
it when you mash up chickpeas and then you deep fry them and put them on a sandwich?
That's a falafel. That's
Oh, my mistake.
okay. It's okay. All right. Well, Alex, do you care to guess?
Arafel. Arafel. It's I don't know. Yeah, sure. It's a planet.
All right. Well, it is Dune. So
Oh.
1 point for Alex and Vince. I don't think it's a planet. It is the clouds, the cloud darkness of holy judgment. The cloud darkness at the
I
end of
believe
the
that.
universe and the end
I'll
of
take that.
mankind.
Yeah, I don't
See what I
know what
mean?
it is.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
Next, this thing.
Zoff.
Oh, you just made that. Hang on.
Well, again, it wasn't me. It would have, if it was not from Dune, it would have been the internet making it up.
Not to Dune.
Ugh, I don't know how to change the thingy. Why can't I change the
Why can't you change the thingy?
thingy? Is it there? Is
I
it,
don't know. Is it there?
what do I change?
Change the thingy.
Change this thingy.
Do it.
Stop changing the thing.
Is this gonna go away?
You can just tell. You can
You're
just
gonna go away.
use your words, Alex.
Dune. I picked Dune. It's going and disappearing before my
All right, well-
eyes.
No, it's not Dune. It's a made up word.
Okay.
All right, next. This.
Mm.
Whew. Could go both ways on that one.
Yeah, I agree. What the hell? I don't want a laser pointer. I'm doing not Dune.
You're doing not Dune? Okay.
Yeah.
It is Dune.
Oh yeah.
Vincent and Jeanette, do you care to guess what it is?
Sure. Why not? I know it'll be wrong. It is where a baby sleeps.
All right.
It's a piece of technology used by members of the galaxy to achieve common household tasks.
Can I guess what it is?
No.
Sure. I mean,
A
you did
weapon.
Yeah.
like that. Okay, but sure, go guess.
A weapon.
No. Okay, so it is a 9-stringed musical instrument.
Is that the one Florence Pugh plays?
Possibly.
Okay.
It says lineal descendant of Zithra tuned to the Chassis scale and played by strumming.
Oh, of course. Why didn't you just say that?
I don't know. Anyway, next. This is your next word.
Cognitor.
All right. Answers, please.
Dune.
You're all right. It is Dune. Okay, let's hear what we all think it is. Alex, we'll start with you.
Okay.
I guess maybe is it a human? I think they were called differently. Is it a human computer? Maybe. Don't tell me, but that's my guess.
Okay.
Is it like part of a ship? Like
Good guess.
a piece of technology? Part of a ship.
I just guess it's a piece of technology.
Specific to space travel.
I think it is something to tell time.
I'm actually going to give it to Alex because, yeah, you were.
That's what they're called?
So it is one of several ancient philosophers whose brains are transplanted into fluid-filled canisters so they can analyze the universe indefinitely.
Nice.
Oh,
So I do feel like human computer is pretty close.
Yeah.
to
That's what
That
I
sounds
meant.
right.
I meant a human, like using a human.
I'll seal
brain as
off
a
on that
computer.
too.
that's
Vince, you seal off on that?
I seal off on that. That's a hell
Thank
of a
you.
retirement plan.
This is the next one. Ugh.
I'm weak, Anakin.
All right, 2 for not Dune. Alex,
Dune.
you're correct. It is Dune.
Thank you.
Oh,
Would you like to guess what it means?
Oh, I think I might know. I think
It's
I
like-
might know.
I think it's something. I'll allow other guesses. I think it's something or like a way to inhibit the mind. Let's say like a nullification of the mind. So maybe something again, maybe like a technique to use against like Bene Gesserits or like a force field that
Oh.
prevents like psychic influence, something like that.
Interesting. Okay.
That's not a
Okay,
bad
Vince,
guess.
you can guess, I guess, if you want.
My guess would have been like the act of mapping the void of space.
Okay. I'm gonna read you what it is, and then
You guys can vote.
I'm inclined to give Alex another 5 points, which is ridiculous because I was convinced no one would ever get any of these 5 points, and here he is.
He did
maybe-
read the books. Did you know he'd read the books?
No, I didn't read the books. I didn't read the books.
Oh, I thought you said you
No.
read the books.
No. I said
Oh.
I hadn't. No, yeah.
So
Oh.
it is technology akin to the science fiction concept of stasis. Stasis, in which the natural processes of time, such as decomposition, are ceased. In this way,
No,
perishable
it's
matter
not the
like
same thing.
food and human cells may be stored for millennia undamaged.
No, this
No,
is like when
yeah.
a frog
This is
goes
cryogenic
underground in the
freezing.
winter. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not the same thing.
Yeah. I'm in vote of not giving me the points.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it does say human cells stored undamaged.
Yeah,
It's not, he's talking
It
about
is.
making yourself unglamorizable. Like
Yeah,
no one can
yeah.
glamour you.
like
but-
Magneto's
Yeah.
helmet in that.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
He's
I was
talking
getting
about
at.
like when
Yeah.
you turn off your brain to a vampire or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not it. That's not it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, this word.
Actions. Actions. It sounds like saying action in Cajun. Actions. I can't hear it. Stop laughing now. Okay.
Imagine Dune with like all Cajun accents.
Actions. Listen here, Paul. Me and the
Jeez
Hawkenins.
Louise.
You could say Hawkenins like this.
All right, let's see the answers.
Not to Dune.
Yeah, you're all right. It's not Dune.
Oh my god. That was...
All right, next.
Hey, you know what action would be if it was a real word?
What?
It would be like a sports bra, but a thong.
Oh,
An action.
Did
Sorry, let's move on.
it do this whenever you told it that Zendaya was in the movie? Sadina.
I feel like this is the
Sayadina.
joke. I feel like he just
Yeah.
threw this one in. He just threw this one in to make fun of the Zendaya Zendina.
I'm doing this.
Although it does sound like Sayadina.
Sayadina.
right there. It does sound like it's something.
Sayadina.
But I'm gonna go for not. I'm gonna follow my instincts here.
Not to Dune.
I'm going.
you're all wrong. It's Dune. It's from the
Damn.
Dune.
Wow.
Among the women, the Sayadina
Yeah, actually, I remember it now.
is a priestess who has not yet passed within to become a reverend mother.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they say it in the films.
Why are they like, Lady Jessica? You're a Sayadina.
I don't remember. It's just a very familiar word to me, Sayadina, that I'm assuming I heard it from the movies, and that's why it's so familiar.
Makes sense. Next, this word.
That looks like
Cleonic
something to do with
clausal.
like colonoscopy.
This is gonna bite me in the colonoscopy. All right.
Cleoni closal.
Oh
Not
yeah,
to Dune.
coital.
It is not Dune.
Yay.
Next, this word.
Oh, I like that one.
Hypnobong.
What the hell is that?
See, that's gotta be a thing in like our world if it's not in the Dune world. You know what I'm saying?
That is a,
That
come
can't just
on,
be
man.
a made up.
you can't
can't
just say hypnobong like
Yeah.
it's a thing.
That's gotta be a thing, right? There's no way in hell this ain't a thing.
Oh my god, wait, I want to show
Christmas
Ben's
present
comment.
this year.
Sayadina is what the Oscar producer said to John.
Ah, ah,
That's funny.
They
that's
should have
good.
him present
That's
her at
good.
the Oscars this year.
Oh my gosh.
That would be so great. Because they're gonna she's gonna present an Oscar at at some point.
What was John Travolta in?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
It's do you know of the time that he like famously flubbed Dune's name? That's
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
All right, let's see our answers. Go. Not Dune. This one is, hold on. Dune.
Whoa! I knew it. There's no
There's a
way,
techno
Jeanette.
bomb in Dune?
Yes.
You care to wager a guess as to what it means?
I mean, not what I think it means.
It's oh god, hypnobong. I'm gonna.
Even in the
Hypnobong.
60s, this had to hit
It's-
pretty funny.
An instrument used in religious ceremony.
Okay.
Hypnobong. I guess maybe like either an instrument or a drug to effectively hypnotize somebody or put somebody in a state of hypnosis or akin to hypnosis.
What Jay and Silent Bob do on a Saturday night.
So it is a device in the shape of a concave base that induces a drug-like state. According to the Reverend Mother, it is outlawed in most of the civilized worlds.
Just like
Can we-
techno
Are we going to give that to me?
Yeah, we'll give that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give that to you. Okay. And finally, this word.
Heck.
Heck. What the heck?
Heck. Oh, this got to be a word too. You know what I'm saying? So simple.
That's so,
It's so
Dune, by the way.
eloquent. If it's not Dune, it's got to be something else. So by definition, it has to be Dune.
Hecate? No.
It's not Dune. The
Ah,
Uh,
it's
Right.
pseudo
I mean,
Egyptian.
tally of the points.
And it's Alex.
I want the distance, the difference in points. That's what I want. Not the mere place.
So Jeanette has 5. Vince has 6. Alex has 15.
wow.
Yeah, I thought
I am the Kwisatz
Wow.
Haderach.
Now, how many
you're
points?
not
would we all-
until we spell
God.
Kwisatz
How many
Haderach.
points would we like to wager?
That's true.
All 5 of them.
Okay, Vince.
I'm going all 6.
Okay, Alex.
My destiny is already written. I will wager all my points.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, please spell Kwisatz Haderach. Write it down.
Oh, Jesus. I can't believe I still didn't study this. Jeez.
Oh God.
I started it with a Q last year. I remember that much.
I used to know this.
Can't believe you wagered all 15 points. Could have wagered 5 and won.
It's true. All right.
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
This looks like a child practicing handwriting.
So please
All right.
show us, show the people.
I can spell this.
Actually, I would like everyone to please. Okay, now that we've seen it, I'd like you to all read the spelling in the style of a spelling bee. So, Kwisatz Haderach, K, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, I want
Okay.
spelling.
Oh, I see.
We'll start with Jeanette. Please spelling. bee.
Okay. Kwisatz Haderach. Kwizakhaderach.
Okay. Vince.
Kwisatz Haderach. KWISATZ space HADERAK. Kwisatz Haderach.
Okay. Alex.
Kwisatz Haderach. KWIZATS space HADARAK.
All right. You all lost. We have no winner tonight. It's just like when Paul incites the war and everyone is doomed. Some of you were
Doomed.
very close. Some of you
What
were
is it?
very close. It is Kwisatz Haderach. KWISATZ space HADERACH.
Haderach.
Damn it.
Why
Ah.
do they call it Z up there, huh? I never
Oh, yeah.
noticed that before.
Where's
Yeah.
Yeah.
every opportunity we have to rub it in your face, we do.
Even though
Oh,
I will
wow.
admit, I can never keep track of which is Canadian, which is American. I know that there's two, and I never know. So I tried.
and
I was
British.
like, try to do the one that you think is Canadian. So I guess it is.
Where's Z?
Oh, the only time we ever say it the American way is when we're talking about Dragon Ball
Dragon
Z.
Ball, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, I always say-
because Dragon Ball Z just doesn't roll off the tongue.
I was gonna
It's
say
weird.
that's like
Yeah.
very purely.
Well, we also
Canadian
say
Yeah.
we also
Dragon
use
Ball.
it for Gen Z. We don't really say
Yeah,
Gen Z.
Gen Z. Yeah,
Yeah,
Gen Z.
yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
Gen Z sounds kind of cool though.
It
I like
does.
Yeah,
Gen
we can't give them that. We can't give them that.
What's
Alright.
wrong with Gen Z?
Well, I mean, the term or the people, because those are two different questions. But there we go.
Next episode.
No, I can say it. I don't have any Gen Z viewers on this channel. I see the analytics.
Oh, come on.
No, they're all millennials. They're all millennials, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no, not cool enough for the kids.
One day, no, think about the future. People are going to come back and look
I
at
don't
this.
That's right. When the Gen Zs are millennial age, they'll
Yeah.
come back here.
That's when they'll show
They'll
up,
be
yeah.
into this.
And they'll hear
No, Gen-
us shit talking them now, and then they'll be
Oh,
like,
I'm thinking of Generation X, not Generation
Yeah,
Z.
you're-
That's why I was in.
yeah,
I was like,
Oh,
what's
no,
wrong with
no, you
Generation
guys are
X?
cool.
The ones before us.
they're fine. They're fine. I mean, no, like they're probably all asleep now. It's like past 9 p.m. But like, no, the Gen X's are fine.
If I was not here, I would be asleep on my couch. So
And the millennials are
Praise
getting
be.
there. The millennials are getting there. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, everyone. That's a wrap for tonight. I can't remember. Is next week Conclave? I don't know.
So next week
think
is
so.
Conclave. I'm so excited. I'm gonna show you guys my pet turtle next week, and you'll know why. Yeah.
Is there is that what the turtle was from in that image that you sent in the group chat?
Turtle. Yes. I
Aw.
love it. And I have
Oh,
a pet turtle
Ben,
who
we
looks
love
just
you
like
too.
him.
Hey,
Love
Ben.
you, Ben. Love
Thank you,
Anna.
Ben.
Turtle Pope. Okay. Yeah, this week is Conclave.
Elden Ring.
Wow.
We will see you then. But until then, yeah, one at a time. Tell everyone who you are, where we can find you, and your closing thoughts on Dune Part 2. We'll start with Vince.
Hello, America. You've changed a little bit since we've last spoken, but it's okay. I've changed a little bit too. I thought Dune 2 was really good, and not everyone here shares that opinion, but that's okay. That's what these are all about. We get to talk about movies with great expansive sand shots. And, some people like them more than others. I think something we can all agree on is that Dune Prophecy is kind of garbage because it takes all the most boring aspects of Dune 1 and 2 and sort of boils it down into its essence and turns it into a TV show. So it's just boring. And it's not good, and you have characters you don't care about, and I don't recommend it. I watched 5 episodes, didn't watch the 6th, and then I've been watching Doctor Who ever since, which is peak sci-fi, so much better than Dune Prophecy. If you want to get involved in a big sci-fi lore, watch Doctor Who. So anyway, take it easy. I'm Vince. Only time will tell. Hey, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You Americans still have TikTok, right? That's
For a little
cool.
bit,
Yeah? Okay, we'll see. Adios. Thanks for having me.
Yes, Vince, we do have TikTok, unfortunately, because my daughter is 12. But yeah, so Dune 2. Dune 2 was okay. I'm looking forward to Dune 3. I actually am, because that baby will be born and not freak me out so much. Yeah. So you can find me, TinkerJ787, on Instagram. You can also find me at We Like Theme Parks Podcast on Instagram, and every Thursday night. Every Thursday day, which would be today. So Thursdays are my day now, I guess. Go check out our new episode today. And I'm very excited for Conclave next week. Like I'm literally excited for pretty much everything else here on out. So
Woot.
woo.
Yeah, if you want to check out a Dune series that, as far as I remember, isn't terrible, Children of Dune. It's an older series, Kind of's got Babylon 5 vibes, IMO / Stargate SG1 vibes. Kind of a hybrid, maybe. Maybe that's nonsense. But yeah, check it out if you're craving a Dune, series that I guess isn't that bad. Otherwise, yeah, Dune 2 was just paving the way for Dune 3. Kind of all comes down to Dune 3. We'll see how Dune 3 is. Dune 1 was like, hey, hi, I'm Dune. Nice to meet you. Here's what I'm all about. I'm like, okay, cool. You're Dune, 2020, whatever the heck. Okay, you're modern Dune, fancy Dune, CGI Dune. You got some nice shots, cool exposition, cool. All right. Dune 2 comes in. Dune 2 is like, I'm Dune 2, man. I'm so cool. Look at this. Zendaya. Timothy the Overlord dude. I'm God. I'm badass. Okay, cool. A little try hard. Little, little lack of substance, kind of crammed everything in the end there. Pacing's kind of meh. So, Dune 3. Dune 3 is supposed to be, it's like, what did we learn after Dune 1 and Dune 2? We get to Dune 3, and we get, it all comes together in the third film. It's its chance to, either, prove to us all that, it was all worth it. It was all meaningful. It all meant something.
It didn't mean anything.
Or it didn't mean anything.
Meant nothing.
Yeah.
Meant nothing. No.
Yeah.
Dune meant nothing.
Yeah. Some of us, we've got the spice. We can bend time and we can see the future.
If you say you have the spice, that means you just like to violate worms and drink their fluids.
I'm saying you like the spice.
I don't like,
because you're talking about how Dune didn't mean anything, as though you've already seen the third film, and only people who can do that in the Dune universe are the people who use the spice.
Universe.
The Duneverse. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And how can that be? For I am
the Kwisatz Haderach.
Hadermat. Mataract. That's it. The Kwisatz Mataract.
But Matt, that would make you like 20,000 years old. But people don't live that long.
But how can that be when I'm alive? When you call on me, when you hear the worm, I get wings to fly. Kwisatz Haderach. Okay. What are you doing?
Doing that thing where they like with my hands, where they kick out their heel and they kick out their toes and they do the same on the other.
That's a thing?
Yeah. You kind of go. They go.
Charleston?
It's like da da da. It's like what I got. Da, 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 da. But flame to the candle, candle feeds the flame. Oh yeah, da 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 da. Scatter, but he put it all together, and I can't explain. Oh yeah, it's like that. But
oh, I get it now.
Yes, okay. Exactly. It took you long. It took you a long time there.
The spice. It was the spice.
I was
kind of looking into the future and into the past at the same time. I couldn't see the present.
It slowed your mind a little bit, I think. All right, but you're back with us now. You're back on track, so that's what matters.
I'm back on Haderach.
You know what? It's good to have you back on Haderach.
Okay, we're done now. Bye. How do you end this?